It's Mo from Teaching Modern Minds, and today I just wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about goals. I know for some of us, myself included sometimes, goals is not the word that I would say is on the top of my vocabulary list. But I understand that it is a very necessary word and that we should all be working towards our goals on a daily basis. When we start out at the beginning of the year, it is customary to go ahead and have a slew of goals that we list for ourselves if you are one of those resolution type people. But also, by the time we get to the end of January, beginning mid-February, a lot of that aspiration for attaining those goals tends to go away very quickly. And so that's why we're going to talk about goals and how to model them and keep them going as a whole process throughout the year and years, so that not only your young learners will be able to hold on to them better, but they will also be something that you can model and make an even stronger impression for them. The next thing that you should probably work on are making your goals visible. This is great because it helps to not only visualize the process of attaining goals, but it also helps with remembering that you even have a goal to achieve. I mean, you can do this through making vision boards. You can make lists and make them visible. Use Post-it notes and write down your goals or your affirmations or your goal with an affirmation and put them together someplace visible. You can also use dry erase markers on windows, mirrors, picture frames if you wanted to, and you could put your goals up that way. Chalk and chalkboard works also. Make it decorative with some kind of program like Adobe and post your goals that way. But the point is that you want someplace, a point of reference to be able to come back to, and they can be seen so that you and your young learners will be able to remember what you're working on at the time. Which leads me to my next point. Have an accountability partner, because having someone to check in on you can help you tremendously. A lot of times we forget our own goals. Even if we remember to write it down on the mirror or post the Post-it note, or we've made a beautiful outline of what it is that we're going to do, sometimes we can just forget to go back and see those things. And then not only that, but sometimes after they've been posted in the same place for such a long time, we sort of see past them. So to get an accountability partner, to have someone come in and say, hey, don't forget, you're supposed to be trying to work towards this goal. And also, if you can, to be able to move the goals around that you've posted. If you had a Post-it note that says your goal or your goal and your affirmation, and you have it posted on the bathroom mirror, then have it there for a couple of days, and after that, post it on the refrigerator or post it on a window, post it, on a bookshelf, wherever it is that you will visit often and still be able to see it, so that it doesn't become so redundant. Then it can also give you the opportunity to say to your young learner, hey, I will be your goal buddy. Will you help me to attain this goal? And in turn, I will also help you to attain one of your goals. That way, the two of you are giving each other the opportunity to come and check in on each other and their goals, so that no one is feeling as if they are out there and don't have any support or backup when it's coming down time to make and complete your goals. It's time to move on to measuring your progress. Measuring your progress is a great way to not give up on your goals, because even though you may feel like everything's not going the way that you thought it was going to go with your goal, whether it's with a personal goal or with your young learners and their own goals, the point of the matter is every time that we wake up and we commit to moving forward and making progress in our goals, we're always chipping away at the overall goal. And if we can make that visual in some way so that on those days where it doesn't feel like we're actually making any progress towards our goals, we can actually see, hey, I actually did do something. I actually did move a little bit forward towards the whole goal. When working on your goals, be prepared to deal with setbacks and failures. Setbacks and failures are not necessarily failures if you have learned something from them. If you have a setback or if you have a failure and you gain nothing from it, you've learned nothing from it, and you don't know how to resolve it if it came up again or push through it, then yeah, you can count it then as a failure. So some days they will have bad days at whatever it is they're doing, or whether it's schoolwork or working towards their goals, and some days will be awesome. But we can't let the awesome days make the days that there's a setback look like they were worthless. So include plans and preparations and pre-think ways to be able to go ahead and be encouraging and positive and expectant of those setbacks and failures, so that they will be able to be turned into ways to continue the progress of your overall goal as a whole.
Hi, I'm Moses' daughter, and I was just here to say hello.
I have to say what multiple times?
Two tigers tasting tapioca. It's like a vocal stretch.
Two tigers tasting tapioca. Two tigers tasting tapioca.
You realize we're recording, right?
You realize you're interrupting, right?
Just keep going on. Shoot.
I just need to put this one up.
Mom, let me do it. I got it for you. Like I do.
There.
Thank you.
Oh, there we go. Is that good?
So another thing that I should probably mention when it comes to setting goals is be prepared for distractions. As you can see from my kids, distractions happen. There are times that we're going to be super focused on our goal, and just as focused as we are, something else will come along and easily distract us. So find ways to be able to keep your focus. If that is taking time for yourself or taking time for your young learner, turning off the screens, turning off the phones, whatever it is that you need to do. Tell everyone that you're working on your goal, or your young learner is working on their goal, and that they need a moment to be able to focus on what it is that they're doing. But distractions will happen, and just like failures and setbacks, there's something that will go a whole lot more smoothly if we went ahead and pre-planned for them in the planning process of our goal, our overall goal. Next on the list, when it comes down to progression with goals, is to actively seek out motivation or mentorship. Most of the time when it comes to your young learners, that will fall onto you. They will actively seek you for their motivation or their mentorship. It can be a little bit more difficult to find motivation and mentorship when it comes down to fostering your own goals. So for you as an adult, as the parent, you should also take this to heart a lot, because we need to be able to build as much of a community to help progress our goals as possible. Constantly and actively be seeking the motivation to keep you going. Not only the motivation, but the mentorship. Because everyone, when it comes down to working towards their goals, has the possibility of running into roadblocks. And we don't want those roadblocks to be stop signs. We want them to be green lights to further our opportunity and our progression. And if we have mentors and community in our life that can help us, then we're more likely not to give up when we get to those tough points. My final point today, when it comes down to talking about goals, is to be specific. Be specific. It is very important that when we go into making goals, that if we start off with a general goal, let's say read more, that we are specific in how we plan to get to that goal. When we just set whole general goals and don't have the specific details that are required to meet that goal, we're more likely to fail in that goal. And the truth of the matter is if we take just a little bit more time to be specific in those goals, that finding the finer details will also rub off eventually onto our young learners, who will in turn be able to not only set a general goal, but also specific goals, break it down into specific sections and specific goals that will help them reach the overall goal. So when it comes down to your whole process, don't forget the specific details. Set a general goal, but then be brutally specific on how it is that you want to go about completing the goal. Now that I've said brutally specific, I don't mean rigid. You don't want to be in a position with achieving your goals where you're so rigid in them that you miss the opportunity and the flexibility to continue to be able to progress in your goal, because it's not this specific thing that's in the minor details of your pre-planned goal and process. So you still want to be able to be specific, but at the same time, remember the need for flexibility. Okay, everyone, that is my take on working on goals. I really hope that it helps you out. We should be working on our goals all year round, especially if we want to be able to create young learners who can progress and flourish and be able to become the best of who it is that they are meant to be in their educational process. So, check in with each other on setting your goals. Check in with me on setting mine. If you contact me about what your goal is, I'll keep up with you about checking in with yours. So together we can be able to make this a visible process for our young learners. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll talk to you later.